It's Sunday, we're off in the forest again, and we just stumbled across some horn of plenty, Craterellus cornucopioides. In French it's known as trumpet de mort. I'll probably pronounce that wrong. It's a trumpet of death. Despite the slightly alarming name and black colour, this is actually regarded as a highly prized edible mushroom with quite a strong flavour, good for drying and good for soups and so on. It can be quite hard to spot amongst leaf litter. I've heard of one author say it's like looking for black holes in the ground, but these stood out quite obviously against the forest floor, and these are quite big examples. Sometimes you get very small ones. It is said that the small ones are the best ones to pick, as the big ones can get slightly rubbery. Now this mushroom really has no obvious gills. Obviously it still drops spores from this spore surface, but if you look at it, there's no gills. So you are certainly not going to mistake this for a gilled mushroom unless the gills had fallen off it. Let's take a close-up look at one.
So here we are, here's two examples. As you can see, it is black, and they do look like holes, I guess, a little bit. They're, well actually, if you look very closely, they're kind of brown, a very dark brown, but they do look black from a distance. As you can see, there are no gills on there. There's nothing really you could say resembled gills apart from this slight kind of crinkling effect. So they're very easy to identify. Now you might overlook them if you don't know they exist or something like this exists, because you might think they're just old decaying black mushrooms. Of course, with all mushroom picking, make sure you know 100% that they are what you think they are. But there you go, that's the horn of plenty. In the next shot, I'm going to show you a kind of pan of the forest floor so you can see what they look like against the forest floor. Now I'm panning directly over the top. You can get some idea of this sense that they're black holes in the ground. It's kind of an interesting way to look at it, I guess. So there you go. That's the horn of plenty. Craterellus cornucopioides. This is a particularly large example of one. It's absolutely enormous for a horn of plenty. It's really impressive. See, I'm going to take this home anyway. I don't believe, when I read that someone says, oh, the big ones are too rubbery, or this doesn't taste very nice. There's so much variance between authors about what they consider nice and what they don't consider nice that it's always best to try it yourself. I've never actually tried this mushroom. I found it only the first time a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm looking forward to actually give it a go. But I'm just going to try the big ones as well as the small ones and see what the difference is really. So let's have a look. There's some on the floor there. If I kind of pan over there, you can see a whole bunch of them standing out. And they look really quite nice mushrooms, quite elegant, standing out against the background.
Bouquet of horn of plenty.
Autumn's a fantastic time of year, and it's always worth, when you're out looking for mushrooms, just check out what else is about. So we've got, in this wood, there's a lot of sweet chestnut, and this was planted by the Romans and by everyone else after that because its wood is very resistant to rot, so they use it for all kinds of things. And interestingly, underneath this sweet chestnut, what do we have here? Do you know what these are? These are chanterelles under sweet chestnut. So don't worry about sweet chestnut not being native to the UK. It still supports a wide variety of mushrooms and also provides you with the nice addition of some sweet chestnuts. And whilst these may not be as big as, say, the kind of Chinese grown chestnuts that you get, you can still see that these sweet chestnuts are actually very nice and make a great chestnut stuffing for Christmas or just roasted on the fire. And in a wood such as this, which is hundreds of acres and full of planted chestnut, as well as there's other mixed woodland in there, there's no competition for them. We've seen probably 10 or 20 people out picking them, but the wood is so large, you just have to walk around and they're everywhere. So here's a shaggy ink cap, nice edible mushroom. And if we go up here, there's a litter mushroom. And here, this kind of leather capped thing is called a rooting shank. Just thought this was kind of cool, miscellaneous thing. There's some sprouting acorns here. Trying to recreate the next generation of oak trees. So we're back home, it's evening now, and I've got one of the very big ones and one of the reasonably small one, the smaller ones than this. And what I'm going to do is just fry a little bit of each in a bit of butter, and then I'm just going to try them, because I've not personally tried them before. I'm quite interested to see what the flavour is, and also to see if the big ones are like more rubbery than the smaller ones, which I read in one book. So let's try that out. Right. So in here, I'll tell you what, let's just put in that piece there for the big bit, and I've just broken this up. They're the two small bits. Here we go. I've shed some light on it now, or well, my wife has, and you can see it's cooking away. Definitely looks very appropriate for Halloween, these mushrooms. It's like I'm concocting some kind of witch's potion. Right, they're done. They're very thin. I'm just going to let them cool down a little bit so I don't burn myself. So here they are. And let's give them a go. So first of all, the small one. Wow, that's got a really strong taste, like quite a salty taste, very strong actually, almost beyond mushroomy in terms of its strength, very good. I'll try a bit of the big one. Again, that's a very interesting taste from a mushroom. Very mushroomy, but kind of rich. Reminds me of something else. I'm not quite sure. Something perhaps a bit meaty or something. Really nice, actually. Really nice. Really good mushroom. The big one was no more rubbery than the small one or anything, so that's just nonsense as far as I can tell. So I'm just going to pick big ones and small ones, I think, for next time. Well, I picked loads of big ones this time. But anyway, there you go. That's the Horn of Plenty, Trumpet de Mort. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for more mushroom adventures.